Everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the learning space, and as always you have me, Tobeka Nkosi, and I'd like to welcome you back to my channel. So in this video we're going to be looking at foreign exchange, which is part 2. It's a grade 12 tourism topic. We have already discussed the topic, so this is an expansion, right? So in the previous video we spoke about foreign exchange. We spoke about the weak rand, the concept of the weak rand, the strong rand, the buying power. We interpreted a currency sheet, and then we also did some calculations of foreign exchange. So in this video we're going to be looking also in other aspects when we are talking about foreign exchange. We are going to start by looking at the difference between the bank selling rate as well as the bank buying rate. Normally the bank buying rate and the bank selling rate show whether the bank is buying or selling the foreign currency and the price that they are paying for or charging it, right? So what do we mean by this? We mean that the bank selling rate will show that the bank is the one which is selling the currency, and the bank buying rate means that the bank is actually buying that certain currency from a tourist. It is important that you make sure that you use the correct side of the rate when converting currency. For example, a bank may be buying USD at 7.98 rand and selling at 8.33 rand. This means that if you are an American tourist in South Africa and you want to convert your dollars to rand, you will get 7.98 rand for each dollar, and you convert, right? The bank is buying the dollars. So meaning that for the 7.98 rand, you're going to use the bank buying rate column. If you are a South African looking to buy US dollars from a bank that is selling the dollar to you, you'll pay 8.33 rand per dollar that the bank sells you. Normally the bank sells at a much higher rate than the amount when it is buying from a tourist. Why is there a bank buying rate and a bank selling rate? Currents, like any other product in the market, where retailers buy from the supplier and add a markup to get to the final retail price. In foreign exchange, in order for the bank to sell $1, they also need to buy $1. They will buy $1 from another bank and then add a markup onto that to get your rate for your dollar. So in this slide we are going to be looking at an example of a bank buying rate and a bank selling rate sheet, right? So we have an example of euro, British sterling, as well as US dollars. As you can see, the bank buying rate as well as the bank selling rate are not the same. So the most important thing to understand about the two exchange rates is that the buying rates and the selling rates are from the point of view of the bank or foreign exchange provider. If a tourist wants to buy foreign currency, the bank sells to the tourist as the bank selling rates. Okay, so if you are a tourist and you want to buy a foreign currency, it means that you're going to look at the bank selling rates. Okay, so you're going to look at the first column. So for example, if you want to buy the US dollars, you're going to buy them with the 8,000. It's 8 rand and 57 cents. Okay, when a tourist has returned from their holiday with unused foreign currency, they sell it back to the bank, which buys it at the bank buying rate. So now you are from New York, okay? You are in the country right now, and you have your US dollars. So you go to the bank and you sell your foreign currency to the bank. So if it's US dollars, that means you're going to look at the bank buying rate there, which is 8 rand 20 cents. The effects of exchange rates on international tourism affecting inbound and outbound tourists. As we have discussed, when the rand is weak, it is cheaper for international tourists to come to South Africa. This is because compared to another country, the tourist expenses will be much less in South Africa. The opposite is true. When the rand is strong, it is expensive for travelers to come to South Africa, and they spend comparatively less than they would normally spend. The reverse happens for South Africans traveling abroad. When the rand is strong, we have more to spend when we are overseas, and the holiday is cheaper, allowing more South Africans to travel. I will not be expanding on this because I believe that we have really expanded on this concept. How exchange rates influence travel patterns of South Africans traveling to developing and developed countries. South African rand exchange rates are often positively correlated with other developing countries' exchange rate. This means that when the rand is strong, other developing countries' exchange rates will also be going strong. In these instances, South Africa would more likely go to developed countries than the developing countries. Similarly, the rand is often negatively correlated with the developed countries' exchange rates. So when the rand is weak, the developed countries will have strong currencies, making it unlikely for South Africans to visit. They will instead go to developing countries where the currencies are weak too. Right. Also, it's an expansion of what we've already discussed, that if our rand is weaker, then it's not easy for us to go to developed countries because we cannot afford to go there, right? We won't be able to spend as much because we won't get a lot of money when we exchange our rand to a euro, for example. However, when our rand is strong, then we're able to visit those countries. Fluctuations in the exchange rates. Fun fact, did you know that the rand is one of the most valuable currencies in the world? Well, now you know it is one of the most valuable currencies in the world. And this means that it varies up and almost by the second. Influences on the exchange rates. Influences on the exchange rates can either be internal or external, right? So what do you mean by internal? It means that it's events that happen inside the country. External, it's events that are happening outside the country. So when we're talking about internal events, we're talking about political factors. This could include your um, political instability. We're talking about your economic, right? That's normally causes what? Fluctuations. We're talking about the environment. When we preach and we talk about ecotourism, green tourism, responsible tourism, and carbon footprint and all those things, it's not just only about the environment, and it's because it also affects our currency. External events often move the exchange rates but will have little to do with the country. Okay, so external events, they might move the exchange rates. However, they have little to do with that particular country. In 2008, the global recession caused the exchange rate to get weaker, even though the South African economy was healthy. Right, so we have a smaller activity for us to do so that we can see if we are able to differentiate between the bank buying rates as well as the bank selling rate. So the first question is, so in these statements we have to indicate whether it's going to be the bank buying rate or the bank selling rate. A South African buying GBP, it's a Great British Pound, to take overseas, right? So the tourist is in the country and they want to buy foreign currency. So it's going to be what? Bank selling rate. And then the second statement, a South African selling their leftover Great British Pound once they got back from their overseas trip, right? So obviously because it's a different statement, it's vice versa. So it's going to be bank buying rates. Okay. And then a tourist in South Africa buying ZAR with their dollars, right? So it's a tourist in the country and they have dollars. However, with those dollars, they would like to buy what? ZAR. So because we have buying in that statement, then automatically the answer is bank selling rate. A tourist returning their ZAR after the holiday is finished, right? So the tourist is now in the country, right? And they would like to return their money. A tourist returning their ZAR after their holiday is finished. Okay, so it means that the tourist now is going back to their original country, because they should have said a tourist in South Africa. Okay, so they're not saying that, they're just saying a tourist returning their rands after the holiday is finished. So it's going to be bank buying rate. I know this can get confusing a bit. However, it's important to remember that if a tourist wants to buy foreign currency, you're in the country and you'd like to buy foreign currency, then it's going to be bank selling rate. If you have went out of the country, right, and you now have your foreign currency and you are back and you would like to exchange your foreign currency for rands, then we're going to look at the bank buying rate. So if you remember that principle and you read your statement carefully and understand it, then you'll be able to differentiate between the bank buying rates as well as the bank selling rates. Right, so we are continuing with our activity. We have a table whereby we have a description of the different types of currencies we have, but we only have three. We have the euro, the British pound, as well as the US dollar. We have the codes, we have the bank selling rates and the bank buying rates. We have to use the currency rate tables above to calculate the following amounts, right? So the first one is the USD you would get when you bought 1,000 worth of USD. Okay, so because you are buying, right, that's why I highlighted bought, then we're going to look at the bank selling rate, and we have 1,000. So what we're going to do is, let me erase all of this. Right, so it's for A, 1,000, and we divide, where are my symbols? Okay, we divide by, it's the USD, ne? So it's 8.57 cents. 8.57 cents, and the answer will be 1000 divided by 857. So it's going to be 116.69 if we take it to our second decimal place. So if you have 1,000 and you would like to buy USDs, for your 1,000 you will get $116. And then B, the ZAR you would get when you sold USD. So remember, now we are selling, right? So it's going to be the bank buying rate, 2,000, the US 2,000. Okay, so for our B, it's going to be is it 2,000? Let's check. US 2,000 multiplied by bank selling rates, bank buying rates, guys. So it's 820, and our answer is 16,400. So this means that if you come into the country with 2,000 US dollars, when you exchange that, you actually will get 16,400, which is a lot of money. The GBP you would get when you bought 2,000 worth of ZAR. Bought again takes us back to bank selling rates. So it's going to be 2,000, right? We divide again. $2,000 divided by it's bank selling rates. Okay, so it's 13.63. 13.63, and then your answer will be GBP. Let's check. 2,000 divided by 13.63. It's going to be 146.74 if we take it to the two decimal places. So meaning that if you have 2,000 and you want pounds with that amount of money, you'll only get 146 pounds. Right, now let us do the last one. D, the amount in ZAR you would get when you sold your 30,000 Great British pound. So now you are selling, you're selling to the bank, and the bank will use the bank buying rates. So it's going to be GBP 3,000 multiply by 13.00, and our answer is 3,000 multiplied by 13, and your answer is a whooping 39,000. We have reached bye bye for now.